Doing great. So this is our first new code of wealth officially on the rolling out page. So how do you
Yes.
feel?
How exciting is that?
It's
Yeah. Every time I think about just, how you and I connected and how this show came about, it's just, I'm always, just look and stop and go, that's really amazing because we met putting together some marketing and a kind of this platform that we wanted to bring entrepreneurs together, Black entrepreneurs to be able to come together and really have meaningful networking. And a pandemic happened.
yes, and then we had a big pandemic that said everything is going to stop now.
And everything is going to stop. But then we pivoted, what we wanted to do and said, well, why not bring information now and be able to not only help ourselves, which we've had to pivot as entrepreneurs, but to be able to really bring information to help other entrepreneurs kind of figure out their new code of wealth. Because, just 60 days ago, how you built wealth in your business as an entrepreneur does not work. And if you're still using those same codes, you're not gonna unlock the same, vaults and wealth to what you're doing. And so I think this is so key. I'm really excited to be able to share and we have such great guests and being able to really be like, how did they pivot? Not that you need to pivot, but how, and seeing real live examples of people that have had to do it, including ourselves. And so this is really exciting for me.
Awesome. So for those who don't know, can you introduce yourself? Tell the people who you
are. Because I get so excited, right, about what I'm doing. Forget who I am. It's about what the work I'm doing. I love it. I'm Sonia Booker, and real estate developer, entrepreneur, 20-year entrepreneur. I just thought about some of the pivots that I had to make during that 20 years. Here in the Atlanta area, and kind of picked up the name Wealth Builder over the years for building my wealth, but really helping other people build their wealth through books and speaking and, all the things that I'm able to share. So really excited about that.
Awesome, awesome. And my name is Rick Mathis. I'm a filmmaker based here in Atlanta, Georgia. Produce a film series called Black Friday, hence the name of the show, which deals with how we as African Americans value a dollar and the importance of leaving a legacy for the next generation. So today, the show is about pivoting in the world of entertainment or the business of entertainment.
Yeah.
Right now, the coronavirus has totally turned the world upside down. So now we want to talk to a few special people about how they're pivoting in business, because as you know, business must go on. And we must continue to be successful and live out our dreams and aspirations. So that's what this show is about.
I'm a person, when we started talking about pivoting, and I remember just looking up the word pivot, what does that mean? And, and I think about how, just the definition to make a change, to change direction, to, and really being able to see that. And I think the part that is real important is not being afraid to make those changes. And so one of the definitions, you probably could appreciate this if you're a basketball guy, a pivot, it's like, standing in one place with your feet, planted.
And my goal was to go to the NBA. That's one side that you don't know about. So literally, from a small country town, Valdosta, Georgia, in South Georgia, and I literally grew up right next to a basketball court. So there was a park on Jackson Street. Shout out to all my people in V-Town, Valdosta. Everybody, if you're from Valdosta, you know Jackson Street Park. You remember Jackson Street Park. So I used to live right next door to Jackson Street Park, and we played basketball every day.
Every day, right?
Every day.
Every day. So that example, so did you pivot? Did you keep your foot planted, your feet planted, and you go all the way over? That's a pivot. And I thought that's so important because you got to be firm, you got to plant your foot down and be able to pivot. So I thought that was a really good example of, pivoting to stay firmly planted, but to also be able to make those adjustments around you and not lose your balance of what you're doing. So really, you know, looking forward to hearing the entertainment world in particular. It's such a big industry. You know, when you look at the state of Georgia, you know, the film industry, but, you know, all over the world, LA, everywhere. And right now we're depending on content more than ever, music, film, video, you know, everything. And when I think about those industries in particular, it's like, these are things and ways that we've done things forever. You know, 40, 50 years is how the entertainment world worked. You do this, you do that, and you had your few big, you know, people in the industry. And I think about all the streaming of music and all the YouTube and all the ways that we get music now is totally different. So I think it's an amazing opportunity for people in that industry to be able to pivot into, you know, something else in this time and not be afraid to disrupt the heck out of this stuff. You know, that's the exciting part. We get to like, put it together, you know, in a way that makes sense for everybody. So lots of opportunities. So hopefully there's some, you know, people I know rolling out, you know, the big entertainment platform. So, you know, you can ask questions and, you know, we want your questions. We want to bring tips and strategies, and, you know, I'm excited about the guests we're going to be talking to today. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. So with that, let's get started. I mean, we'll bring on the first guest here. Let's see. We can bring on our first guest, who's no stranger to the entertainment business.
Okay. Ah, there he is, Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, Dr. Glenn Tobey. Are you there?
I'm here.
Good, good, man. So this is the new code of wealth, man. So for those who don't know, Dr. Glenn Tobey is #1 founder of the Book Bank Foundation, which is the hat that he's rocking today. But he's also a sports agent as well as entertainment agent. Started out as a rapper and done a lot of amazing things in entertainment. So if you will, man, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Glenn Tobey. I've been in the entertainment space over 2 decades. I've had the honor of either representing, brokering, or helping start the careers of people from Saigon to LL Cool J, countless recording artists, David Banner, R. Kelly, and in the TV movie space, Jason Mitchell, Lance Reddick, and probably 20, 30 of the greatest players in the National Football League, from Asante Samuel, who got $64 million. And I've been involved in the development and curation of many brands and businesses that we've launched or that we're launching, such as Clear Conscious Content.
Okay, and if you will, kind of bring the, I know you out there working and, you know, y'all had some, something that came up that you had to get to, but you still want to be a part of the show. But if you could bring the phone a little closer, because it's kind of, the audio is,
Let me switch the audio.
It was kind of breaking up a little bit.
Is this better?
That's much better, yes. Much better, much better. Right.
Yeah.
Much better?
Yes.
Glenn's out there making it happen.
Yeah, Glenn.
Actually, I'm going to do one even better than that. Don't move.
No, you sound great now. You sound great now. Just mount the camera and we'll be good. Popping in the earbuds.
Put these ear pods in. Is this helpful?
Yeah, you sound great. I love it.
Good. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll explain this. I'll explain this a little bit later too while I'm moving around like this. But
okay, yeah. No problem. You know we're supposed to be quarantining, man, but I understand. So,
wait a minute. Don't think I'm not. Hold on. Let me make it official. Don't move.
You're not out there playing no games with this. We're rolling.
Let me see what kind of medicine is this.
I'm following the rules.
Is that
I'm following the rules. Yeah, I'm following the rules, brother. I promise.
So Glenn, So Glenn, you've been at this for a minute, LL Cool J, you got, and you used to rap yourself. And I saw you part of the film, helping to really critique and helping young filmmakers, up and coming filmmakers. So I'm like, wow, what does he not do? Have you found during this season, what's been the most refreshing part of all of this for you in terms of oh crap, it's a virus, but now I get to do this, or how have you, really looked at this in your business?
I think what's really been good at it causes for creativity and resolve like we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. The world will never be the same.
Yeah.
If you look on a spiritual level, whether it's religious, Old Testament, New Testament, if you look at science, if you look at the historicals of pandemics that have happened over the last 100, 200 years, you see that these things happen in iterations. So this is a great time for us to have a reset. The entire global community on an economic, personal, and spiritual level has been reset. While we're being reset, what have you done in the last 60 days? What have you done? The last 60 days should have moved your life 60 years. The last 60 days should have impacted the last 6 years of your life. Everybody is completely equal. We're back to a starting point, and we're able to communicate a little bit more with less distractions. Anybody that comes out of this epidemic, this pandemic, anybody that comes out of all of these verticals, I'll call them 4 verticals, right? There's health issues, there's political issues, there's financial issues. People are in their houses right now meeting their wife that they're getting to know again because they've never been around each other for more than 8 hours at a time. People are meeting their children. They're finding rooms in their houses that they haven't seen. They're finally listening to global geopolitical issues because they're mandated, because we're looking through the window to see how we're going to live. This is the greatest time of our life, not the greatest event, not the greatest purpose, but this can become purposeful. There's never been a chance for us to change history like right now.
Yes. Oh, that's exciting. You said something, you said a lot, first of all, but the last 60 days, and I think about that and I'm like, whatever you were doing 60 days ago is no longer relevant and no longer works. And the quicker you can adjust your mindset to know that, the better off you're going to be. But 60 years? Did you say 60 years?
60 years. Let's talk about wealth creation. If you take a look at the Kennedy family, his father was John F. Kennedy's father was a bootlegger. He was involved in so many different illegal businesses. He was operating, his greatest wealth was brought to him during Prohibition, right? So they weren't allowed to sell alcohol. These guys emerged from the most repressive period of time where you could not make money, and they still found ways to pivot and get to grace and get to the forefront of where American and traditional business has been, right? So we've seen that in many categories and in many communities where people have been involved in drugs, people have been involved in hustling and moving around, and they've been able to reposition themselves to win. We've not been able to do that in the illegal communities and the illegal spaces without being incarcerated, death, and destruction. This is a thing where everybody's set to sit down to talk to their inner self, to use these tools that we have, these digital tools, these online tools. And if you're not using them, they can either be tools or weapons. There's never been a greater time that the playing field has been reset.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's so profound. And how do you think, okay, so we're here, the 3 of us right now, and we're all like, this is great. This is exciting. I just remember it just felt like everything crashed and it was like, it's okay. And then it was like my head peeked back up and I was like, it was like this oyster, like, oh my gosh, look at all of this opportunity. How do you think that, people get to that side? Because it's daunting and it's like we're sitting here like it's so exciting and, it's great. But what do you think happens that, is not great for everybody right now? They're not seeing the way that we're seeing it. What do you say to that? Or how do you explain that or help someone?
Well, I want to give somebody an alert. This is a warning. If you're not creating value, if you're not creating opportunity, the United States government is not going to give you enough money. But people are looking at this $1,200 payment, potentially a $2,000 a month payment with, I guess we call that universal income. Those type of programs don't allow you to scale. You've got to be able to scale. It's a great time. Find some value, whether it's picking up garbage, whether it's delivering food, whether it's creating an online business. We've got to create. If you're not creating, your income will stay at $1,200 per payment or $2,000 per payment. So we have to liberate ourselves and become valuable. There's so many things that have been disrupted in this world economy. There's so many things that have been disrupted in our life that this is the perfect time to find and create value. Find a resource, and you are the definition of it. A woman that's been involved in a male-based all-boys club business, real estate development, construction. You've had to master that as a woman. And you pivoted.
When people start calling me a pioneer, I was like, really? I'm not old enough to be a pioneer, you know?
Well, you're young enough. You're young enough to be one.
Wealth of knowledge. It's information.
How can I be a pioneer? But yeah, but no, you're right. And you know, I think that that's what's been so great that, and I remember thinking, what if I stopped showing up in those rooms, in those, you know, good old boy white rooms that, you know, I would show up and I was the only girl, I was the only Black girl, and I was either, who's your husband, which meant I was married to a white guy, or whose accountant am I? You know, and that's what, you know, and so me kept showing up was like, no, I'm gonna write the check like you are. Like, what are we doing? And after I kept showing up and showing up, finally it's like, oh, she's, you know, for real. She's here, you know, to stay. And so for me to bring other people who look like me into it and to be able to write books and share the stories, and, you know, it's like that had to happen because you learn, you teach, you learn, you grow, you know, and it just keeps going. And so now, you know, as I hit these other areas in entertainment, you know, now I'm taking real estate and using them for locations. We're doing a big filming going on right now, one of our locations from a group out of New York, you know, and so it's like, how do I take the same real estate and, you know, make it relevant to what's happening now, because how I was using it 60 days ago, I can't use it that way.
And you know, that's kind of how we collaborated and came up with the idea, with the concept. Because if you can share that story, Sonia, of how we had to pivot because we actually had an event on the books at one of our venues.
And I, you know, we wanted to, when I met Rick, what was, you know, completely obvious is we shared this whole idea of how do we help people, entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, really be meaningful and intentional in their business and network with a real purpose and network with what comes out of it, with the agenda and, you know, follow up. And I was like, I don't want to have another network and everybody get together and and you know, and then go on. It's like, no. So we were working on that. How do we use film to build a directory? How do we help entrepreneurs tell their stories so that everybody else knows? And, you know, all that was happening, and we were really excited about it. And it was called the, you know, Black Friday series. We were going to be on First Fridays. We were bringing back First Friday, and, you know, just excited about doing that. And then got hit with the pandemic, and it was like, wow, this is really great. Let's do this, and we can help more entrepreneurs. And, you know, I mean, and this is just like for us, the beginning of what we're doing that's really, really going to be exciting for the Black community, I believe. You know, I'll go out there and say for the whole Black community that it's going to be great. So.
Yeah, I love it. So we want to bring our other guest on as well now. I know she.
So Glenn gets to stay, right?
Yeah, definitely. Glenn is.
Okay. Everybody has
other questions.
You know, we got to talk about that vertical.
Exactly. Let's see here. Okay.
Anita.
There we go. Are you? Let's unmute you. Okay. Take your. Yeah.
Okay. You got me?
Anita.
Okay.
How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good.
Rick, you want to do the honors?
Well, you know, I mean, she's no stranger. A lot of people have been hitting me up saying, wow, you're going to have his mom on Friday. And people wonder, who is his mom? Yachty, of course, the rapper, man. We have the mother on who's going to share how they are pivoting now in the midst of the coronavirus. So if you will, you could start with a brief introduction of who you are and some of the amazing things that you're doing.
Okay.
And then we can really get into the conversation.
Okay. Well, I am an entrepreneur as well. Entrepreneur, author, and mother of rapper Lil Yachty, my son. As you know, Yachty's a little different in that he is a rapper, but he's also an actor. He's a writer. He does a lot of different things. I mean, he's endorsed just about 50 products. So he's a little bit different. And when we came into this, this whole rap situation, I think he kind of created himself so that he could do more than just rapping. And so that has played out very well in this pandemic. It has allowed us to continue working because, as you know, I think the entertainment industry has been hit the hardest. I mean, we had five shows lined up before the pandemic, and they all came to a halt because they were all going to be at universities. So we've had to do some of the other things that he does besides rapping because there's no rapping going on right now.
Yeah. So I have to, that's why I wanted Rick or someone else to introduce Venita, because sometimes it's like, I know her, she's amazing. And so it's like, I'll leave out some of this greatness. But one of the things that, Venita, that you do that I think is really helpful to people, young people, especially, but women, anybody, you say something that I think is so key in that you're like, I am so glad that my son did not listen to me. And as a mother and as a person who wants the endorsement of our parents, we do a lot of things that we want them to be able to see and be proud of. And I remember you speaking at Clark Atlanta a few months ago and, just telling young people, like, believe in yourself, do it, even if nobody else can. Can you talk a little bit about, what you had planned for your son versus what he had planned?
Yeah, real quick, a lot of people who don't know our story, Miles graduated from Pebblebrook High School here in Atlanta, and my dream for him was to go to a HBC like I did. I went to a HBC, I pledged, but I'm from Gary, Indiana, where when you leave Gary, Indiana, you have three choices. You either go to the steel mill, the military, or college. So that's what I knew. I went to college, and so that's what I wanted for my child. So when he graduated, my dream for him was to go to college. So I pushed college, and I pushed college. Miles went to Alabama State, and he was there all of 2 months. And every day he was there, he called me, and he kept saying, Mom, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be famous, and I'm supposed to be rich. I'm not supposed to be here. And so in my head, I'm like, my black son's gonna get a college degree. So I just pushed. I said, okay, son, you'll be fine. Just finish school. Homecoming is gonna come. And I just pushed all these things on him. And he constantly said, Mom, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be rich. I'm supposed to be doing music. So after 2 months, Miles came to me and he said, look, Mom, they don't like me here and I don't like them. I'm leaving. And he decided, I'm leaving this institution because this is not what I want to do. He left Alabama State. A couple of weeks later, he was in Kanye West season 2 Yeezy fashion show. A couple of weeks after that, he was signed to QC on a management deal. And a couple of weeks after that, he was signed to Capitol Records. So he knew what he wanted to do. That was about 4 years ago. And in 4 years, Miles has done 2 movies, endorsed almost 50 products, done 4 tours, and put out 2 albums, and done like a whole host of other things. So I am just like, I'm so glad that he didn't listen to me. He probably would be a college graduate, but he may not be a happy college graduate.
Yeah.
I always tell parents, just go with the flow. If these kids tell you they're gonna do something, just believe it. Because if you don't support them and endorse them, they're gonna do it anyway. If you endorse them, you keep them from making a lot of mistakes. And I think that's where I had to get with the program and just realize this is not my dream, it's his dream, and just support him and look at where it landed.
Wow, so I love that backstory, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. It's amazing. Now, you're moving along, things are successful, you've made the Forbes list, and then boom, coronavirus hit. How do you pivot? What happens then?
Well, for me or for Miles?
For both of you.
For both of us, for Miles, we start streaming. I mean, streaming is a big part of what he's doing now. He's actually got 2 more big endorsements since we've been sitting at home. And not only that, he signed on to do a couple of things with COVID-19, with the class of 2020. So you just have to make it work. He's very diverse. So we've started streaming at home. And not only that, he released The Boat Show, which is a show that he's doing on his YouTube page. So just getting creative. He's already a creative kid. So he's just taking what he already has on the table and then just putting it out there for the masses. For myself, I had already written a book, Raising a Rapper. I took our story and put it in the book because I did want to share it with other parents, because so many kids come to me to manage them. So many parents come to me. My child wants to drop out of high school. My child wants to drop out of college. So the book was already done and I was ready to do some touring and ready to do a television show. But what I had to do now was take what I had and do it from home, which is my podcast, which is Raising a Rapper podcast. So I started interviewing other moms, other famous moms, other YouTuber moms. And we just talk about the day-to-day and what these kids are going through. And I put it all together and I'm doing the podcast from my home. So just like I'm talking to you, I'm interviewing other parents by phone or by Zoom, and letting them put their story out there. So really just getting creative, taking what I already had, but just bringing it to the masses via Zoom or podcast or even phone. You just got to get creative and use the tools that you have. We all have a cell phone. So let's just take our cell phones and just use what we have, basically.
Yeah, so this show is called The New Code of Wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And that is talking about how do you pivot now.
Mm-hmm.
So give us examples. I know you just said recently that you got 2 new deals during the coronavirus epidemic. I think that's amazing.
Right.
Like, a time where everybody is on pause and saying, okay, what am I going to do? But no, you're pivoting and you're securing deals and still making money, still securing the bag. Tell us about that. Unfold that and like give some advice and some resources on how people can still make money and move forward in this epidemic.
Right. Well, the one good thing that I tell a lot of the kids when they come to me and say they want to be rappers or they want to be movie stars or whatever is to make yourself very diverse. Don't get into a box. A lot of times kids don't realize, but when you do a lot of different things, maybe to your identity, you kind of put yourself in the box. Fortunately, Miles was kind of one of those clean kids. So he was able to do TV, radio, music, write a little bit of everything. So he's always been available to do a lot of different things. So when this pandemic came, it was just a matter of him being able to go to the next thing because he's always been very marketable. So I tell kids, keep yourself marketable so that you can do anything. You don't just do one thing. As far as myself is concerned, I just kind of took what, like I said, I already had, put it out there for my parents, made myself more available, got more. And I wasn't a really, I guess, IT savvy type of person. So I had to just jump in there and use this time to learn a lot more about Zoom and podcasting and a lot of the different ways to get myself out there. But because even though he's my son and he's got millions of followers, it was still a little bit different for me. I still had to pivot and make myself available so that people wouldn't forget. I had to keep myself relevant, continue to post, had to really get into Instagram and Facebook, start doing some marketing on Instagram and Facebook to keep myself relevant so that people wouldn't forget. There's a lot of books out there. People are putting more books out now to make money. It is another option. If you've got a lot of knowledge, put it into a book and put it out there. It's another stream of income. So just thinking of different streams of income.
Yeah. I think that
I know you have a question, Sonia, but like you don't have to share it now, but just moving forward, just like some of the tools that you use. That was some of the comments we were getting in the
some of the tools that she uses.
Yeah, some of the tools that she used, so you can really like inform people and let people know like this was the tool I did it. Like you got to make it real ABC.
Yeah,
Instagram, definitely Instagram. I use Instagram a lot. I also have a 16-year-old daughter who has 100,000 followers. And then of course my son has 10 million followers. And then I've got my little 50,000 followers, but just taking that whole community, putting it together and then jumping on my community that I know. You know, we belong to a big label. So getting with them, post this, post my book, getting with friends that I know, Sonia and other people that I know, rounding up the troops, just getting together the people that you know that have a platform, and asking them to use their platform to get the word out. But a lot of me getting out the word is my Instagram, my Facebook, and then my website. I have a website, which is raisingarapper.com, where people can reach me, they can contact me, they can email me so that I can get information out to them. So the biggest platform is using Instagram and Facebook to get the word out.
And making sure that, you know, we're doing this digital pivot, you know, I think that that's what's so key, to be able to take all this technology in digital and turn that into money. We
Exactly.
talked about the other day, it's never been easier to make money on IG, and you have IG stars or YouTube celebrities, and it's like you meet young people all the time that are like, you know, making 5 times, 100 times more than their parents are making money. And you're like, that model is all wrong because you work your, you know, a whole year for $100,000, and you know, it's like,
and your kids go make it in 30 minutes. Yeah.
So it's really, and I think you can't be afraid to put yourself out there. Wouldn't you say that's probably the most daunting part? Because it's always kind of like, what is somebody going to think? What is, you know, you just really have to deal with yourself. It's not easy, you know, putting yourself out there. But at the same time, you have things that will help so many people. And so it becomes like, if I don't, it's almost a disservice.
Exactly. I felt like I had to put this information out there because kids are getting wealthier and wealthier, and they're younger and younger, and they just don't know what to do. And when Miles started this journey, he was 17, and I came from corporate America. And so I had earned a nice salary, but never the millions that he's earned in the short of time that he'd earned them. So I had to make myself acquainted with accounting and bookkeepers and financial managers. And I had to do all this on my own. There was no blueprint. And so after I don't want to say mastered it because I'm still learning every day. I said, I've got to take this wealth of information and compile it and make it available to other parents. And so that's what I do all day. I meet YouTuber parents. I meet gamer parents, blogger parents, parents who have kids that are making millions of dollars and they don't know what to do with it. I mean, and I'm talking NFL, NBA. A lot of parents come to me and say, okay, we work corporate jobs, but we want to work for our child. How do we integrate that into what we're doing now? And so I show them how to structure that, how to create a business. And your child's making millions of dollars, so let's create a business within that and employ mom and employ dad. You know, people talk a lot of junk about what I do and all the nice things my son purchased for me, but I let him know I work for him. Like, I'm an employee of his now. I'm no longer in corporate America. I work for him. So when you structure your business, you can do that and you can employ people. You know, a lot of times these young kids bring all these friends in and give them all this money. But what I tell them is create a job for them. You know, when we go on tour, we've got friends, but they're doing jobs. They're selling merchandise. They're carrying bags. They're assisting. So show the kids how to create jobs for their friends, because there's so much opportunity.
And they earn money, and they can be fired if they don't do their job. And
exactly.
Personal.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions for you. I want to bring Glenn Toby back on.
Okay.
And let's see. Glenn, are you? There we go. You there?
Sure.
You still there, Glenn?
I'm here. I'm enjoying it.
Cool, man. So we have a couple of questions for you guys. We really want to focus this conversation, which you guys have done a great job giving resources and information already in the first 30 minutes of the segment. But we really want to give some tangible resources, some tangible tools that people can, when they log off of this Zoom platform or this rolling out platform, if you will, they can immediately start applying this stuff. So we want to talk about like focus, like when you had to refocus, like what were some of the fear challenges that you face? Also the opportunities, and then the strategies that you're implementing. So the first thing, like if you could share a time where there was a fearful moment that you felt like, man, this could really overtake me, and what was that moment, and then how did you persevere and become the successful people that you are now?
You want to go first?
I'll let you. I'm gonna join you. You keep rolling.
Yeah.
I just had like a brain all over the place.
I know, and I almost feel like I know what you're gonna say.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me just talk about, well, when the pandemic hit, we had 6 universities on the calendar to do shows for. So they all canceled. So when they canceled, we have an album. Miles is getting ready to drop Lil Boat 3 very, very soon. It should have been out Mother's Day. And so they decided not to drop it at QC. So when that happened, I was like, okay, what are we going to do? You really do start to panic and forget about all the talent that you have. But of course, I'm a woman of God. So of course, we take it to the prayer first. We take everything to prayer, lay it all out on the table, like, Lord, let your will be done. So yeah. I basically did a lot of that. Like, Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but I know you got us. And so then I started to just plan, talking to Sonia. We just got to write everything down, and we've got to get a plan. And so that's what we started to do. When the whole, his calendar got canceled, we just started thinking about, okay, what all do we have in the pipeline that we can continue and roll out? We had a bunch of YouTube shows that he had been stacking up. So we rolled out a YouTube program. I rolled out a YouTube program, got more involved in my podcast. The label sent him equipment so that he could start podcasting. So we immediately started thinking of content. I have I have my own lane. I've created my own lane. Now there's been a lot of wonderful mothers, Kanye's mom, Ludacris' mom, Usher's mom, that have done what I'm doing, but I wanted to take it and make it available to other moms. So you just start creating content and thinking about, how can I put information out there to help other people as well as benefit from it from a financial standpoint? So we just kind of put all that together, and I wanted to make it available and accessible to other parents. And we just executed, met every day. What are we going to do? Started taping content for a television show. That's something that we were working on before this pandemic happened, which was Raising a Rapper, the television show, where we talk to a lot of other moms. But it's not just about rapping. It's about, like I said, YouTubing, gaming, all those things. So giving those resources to those parents out there. I'm trying to do Raising a Rapper camp. That's something that Sonia and I are working on, a virtual camp for these kids so that they can have access. I always wanted to, when Miles got into this business, I always wanted to give these new kids access to real producers, real studios. And so that's something that I'm working on right now, trying to pull together a camp, because I do have access to other artists because my son has worked with so many artists, but pull them in so that these kids can really get their hands on a P. Diddy or a T.I. or just people that they would never, ever be able to have conversations with, as well as legal services, attorneys and accountants, and making those things available for them. So I'm putting all that together. You just have to pull all your resources together so that you can make them available to these kids out there. And that's what we immediately went to the table with. Okay, now that we've got this pandemic, how can we take what we already have, which is very important, compile it, and put it out there for a resource for others to learn from it?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely so smart. Like, you guys joke about, and Miles, Lil Yachty is very upfront with, I hope my mom is more successful than I am. And they share a bank account. He's like, my mom has access to my bank account. So, here it is where a mom could be like, I don't have to do nothing, but be his mom. I think what you do and what you're doing, is so key. And I really want to encourage people to go to raisingarapper.com because, you have podcasts on there with attorneys and people learn so much to say, you might have a deal presented to you and you're thinking, I don't have the money. I can't have an attorney, and you just sign off because you're
right.
But you talk about how, you know, attorneys that take that on and review those contracts and,
exactly.
you know, information that we don't know is what costs us so much sometimes.
So much.
You know, and so you really help. And I think about the young lady at a book release party who was like 30 years old. So when we talk about kids, you know, and that wants to be a rapper, and you know, she's like, am I too old to be a rapper? And it's like, no, you know what I mean? Because you got other 30-year-olds that are like rap music and don't always want to hear it from the 17 or 18.
Right.
And so you make it, and she's like, I mean, you made it totally possible for her to even see something like that. And I think
and I get that a lot. But the biggest thing that I get is parents come to me and say, I need to find my kid a manager. And I'm like, no, you don't. With the technology and the information that is out there, you can manage your child. I said, you may not be the expert, and later on you can bring the expert in, but you do the homework and you manage your child. No one can manage your child better than you. I was blessed to be able to partner with QC, and they've done a fabulous job with Miles. I couldn't thank them more. But there could have, I think, had I not come from a business background, we could have made a lot more mistakes. But because I knew about business and how to conduct business, I was able to, I guess, stop a lot of things or get more information on a lot of choices that we made. We partnered with a very great attorney, Yawanda Carter. Scott, love her, and she was able to bring a lot to the fold. So I've learned a lot in this industry, but parents just don't know. I mean, I came from corporate. I didn't know anything about the entertainment industry. So you do make some mistakes, but I hope that I've made the mistakes where I can keep parents from making those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But I always say, get involved with your child's career. I don't care if it's kicking rocks. If they say that they're going to make millions kicking rocks, get on board, support them, you know, get the best kick rockers that you know in place to mentor your child, to show them what to do. Don't just drop your child off to some folks and say, I'm going to let such and such manage my child. You do the homework, because with the information that we have available, you can do this. And with the information that I'm going to make available on my platform, parents, you can do this. They can do this.
Awesome.
And now, Glenn, if you will, share a story that you have where, you know, you faced that was fearful and you felt that it could overtake you, but you persevered and became the successful person that you are now. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I don't think there's one in particular. You know, I think every day you wake up as an entrepreneur, it's a brand new challenge. Markets change, markets shift. But I wanted to speak to people, like I've had the honor representing superstars, our co-hosts, superstars, what these ladies have done. I mean, even in real estate, that's a real superstar. She walked into a business that is male dominated, racist, non-inclusive, and this woman represents bankers and she represents people on the other side. So for those of you that don't have a superstar, like, you know, I've represented the biggest artists on the planet, athletes on the planet. Yachty, one of the biggest artists of our time, changing trend. His mother's moving, changing trend the same way, right? They've just begun. But for those of you that are sitting there that don't have a Yachty, that don't have a superstar artist or an Asante Sam or whatever it is, what you do have is you have basic tools. If you don't have funding, you can barter.
Yeah.
So this lady you're looking at right here, you hear her energy, you see what she's in the new trend. I'm a pioneer, old school hip hop. She's new school hip hop. So anything that I see her doing that she's missing, it's nothing for me to give it to her for free because I'm investing in her and her son. I may not get anything resolutely back, but they're on a playing field that new artists that I'm dealing with could come through. She can call me the same way. So when you see people like this on a show that's this humble, DM them. You don't get to talk to this lady live. Typically to speak to her, you're gonna have to pay to be on a platform, a masterclass. You guys are getting this for free. All of our DMs are available on IG, on Facebook. Barter services, let the accountant do the accounting for free.
Right.
Maybe they can get their dentistry done. Maybe it's yard work. Maybe somebody's a chef, a cook. Somebody has a card, a credit card. They can put something on and work. Do we need to use bartering as the system?
Yes.
And you can model what she's talking about. All these amazing. She just gave you a synopsis of the creation of a career. So the strangest thing for me, my pivot today, my pivot today, sorry to do this. The reason I'm driving around today, I have a new company called Clear Conscious Concepts, and these are our products. I had to come in the street to get them. So they were delivering them, and it would have gone back because China's been closed. And this company is called Clear Conscious Concepts. It's a CBD company, and it's amazing. I couldn't wait for FedEx. I couldn't wait for DHL. So I had to literally drive around. Excuse me for being in the car today. I had to pivot to come get my samples because I have to have a return by midnight, right? So I had to do it in the most graceful way possible. So Rick, to your point, my heart is rushing. I don't want to miss this guy because they have these brokers, and the guy doesn't speak good English. He's from China, and he's like, if it doesn't come today, it goes back. So I'm driving around the city while I'm talking to you guys, and I'm listening to my sister tell her amazing story, which is the next edition and the next platform in entertainment. We are our best and greatest resource.
We are.
Yeah.
It's all we have is each other.
That's
and this
right.
is the time to change. First time in 400 years.
You can't be afraid to ask and put it out there. And I mean, my mentor in real estate was the late Herman J. Russell. And man, when I showed up to him, I would have shined his shoes. Like, I'm like, what can I offer him? He had nothing to offer me. Like, okay, what you need? Shine his shoes? You know, but I showed up with some value of, you know, what I could help him do and what he could help me do. And it became a 12-year amazing mentorship. And I showed up just wanting, took me 2 years to get an appointment with him. And I just wanted 15 minutes of his time that turned into 12 years.
Wow.
And so, you know, had I stopped, had I not had the persistency, had I not, you know, I read about him in Black Enterprise magazine, you know, and I'm like, oh, he's in Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in real estate, he's in real estate, seemed like that makes sense to me. And took me 2 years because I felt like he has something for me. And then you couldn't even, there was no social media, there was no LinkedIn and, you know, none of that, you know, at the time. And he was 72 when I met him. He probably wouldn't have been on the stuff, but it's like, you know, that persistency. So I really encourage people to go after, to show up, to make yourself available, to you have something that you can offer me, you know, for my time, because that's the most valuable thing that I have, my time and information. And Rick just talked about that to me a couple weeks ago. He said information is new currency. It is new currency. And if you're not getting information and this season jumping on, you know, amazing calls like this, to hear from people like this, you know, Glenn and Vanita, like, come on. You know, I mean, amazing. If you're even thinking about, you've written something, skateboarder, got a YouTube channel, any of that, how do you take that to the next level and have that access? It's just, you gotta take advantage of it. Got to.
And there's one point that I definitely want to make, you know, before we end. We have about 10 minutes left. But to all the entrepreneurs, moms that are raising, you know, successful sons, with this new
daughters.
And daughters.
Business owners, philanthropists, with this new time or epidemic that we're in, you can't be afraid to make mistakes. You can't be afraid to try new things.
Exactly.
Because the old way of doing business is done.
That's right. Gone.
Like, world opens up again. The way we did business just 60 days ago is done.
Done.
The world is open though. I don't. It's not open up. The world is open. Money is moving.
Yeah, money is still
happening. So you know, it's not wait. It's you got a computer phone or something. You know, because there are people that, and I say that because there are people who are waiting, and it's like, what are you waiting for? You know, like what can you do now? What can you say now? Write the book now. Do this now. You know, it's not, you know, there's something you could be doing right now to help you move money, change your mindset, you know, be ready now.
Can I give an example? I have an example, Rick. Here's my first example. I got this real estate mogul, brilliant mind. I'm coming with some cash. I'm coming with some ideas. I'm coming with some challenges. I'm coming directly to you because this is a masterclass.
Yes.
I'm speaking to this other super uber mother manager, and plus she's an icon in her own right.
Yes.
I'm going to tell her about Camille Ashani, this new artist that broke today and just dropped. I'm going to talk to her about some verticals and some connections that I have for her in film and TV and her platform and some of my tour that I'm doing.
I'm ready.
So I am enriched to have these two powerful people, and we will engage them. So each and every one of you who are DMing us, don't go to her and say, I have an artist. Find out what she's doing. Like, how can you move one of Yachty's social programs?
Right.
Where do you not see Yachty? Do you not see him enough in your city? Call Mother and book that gig. Come up with some kind of concept. Be resourceful, right? So this is the perfect time. How many of you are listening to podcasts? I am running a podcast hour behind hour behind hour. I'm watching these people's faces, right? I go to YouTube and put, whether it's Joe Rogan, it can go from Joe Rogan to Gary Vee to Nori on Drink Champs. We're just checking out culture. If we keep rolling that, you don't get these people to whisper in your ear and talk to you every minute. Save what you have with the 3, 4, 5 of us collectively and send it out and repost it, and let's engage the conversations.
And let me just add to that. Don't be afraid, like he said, to try new things, to create things. Think about this pandemic and what we're in. The state of education will forever be changed. Make your own opportunity, your own job. You know, we've got school buses. Parents will not want their child on a school bus. Create your own services to get kids to school. Create your own homeschooling services. There's so many opportunities out there. Like Sonia said, this is an opportunity and a time to just create all different kinds of opportunities. We have to look at where we are and see what the need is. We know that there'll be needs for different type of educational programs to get kids to school. We don't know what the state of education is going to be. So you could very well create your own school. You know, there's just so many opportunities out there right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and the restaurant
industry, exactly.
You know, I'm like, people are gonna want butlers, and you know, you can go cook for 2 or 3
exactly.
That people don't want to go out to restaurants, and you know, they want to bring that in. You know, I think I'm gonna get a butler. Yeah, I keep
deliver lunches to the school. Deliver your child's lunch to the school. There's so many different opportunities that can be created out of this pandemic.
You have a podcast, Glenn, Dr. Toby?
I'm reviewing a few offers right now. I'm just going in the rooms with geniuses and people like you that are amazing. I'm just bouncing around sharing my information.
And I have a podcast. Benita has a podcast, and you know, and I really
want to have you on.
Start doing real estate, talking about real estate opportunities as another stream of income. Benita and Miles, they're looking at real estate. You know,
working with us,
adding that to their portfolio. So this is a great time for real estate. So make sure you're following me along those journeys, because I'm talking to incredible people and bringing really good information. It is when people are fearful, be greedy.
Yes.
Like real Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's a great quote. I think we can put on a t-shirt.
That's a Warren Buffett. I borrowed it. Yeah, but it's so true, because everybody shuts down and they think like nothing's happening. It's like things are happening. Don't let your sister, cousin, brother, neighbor, you know, what's happening with them make you feel like that's what's happening in the world, because it is not, and we can't get stuck.
Keep working. Keep working. Culture. People have to keep working, keep healing, keep praying, keep developing. Right now on this platform, Rolling Out Magazine, there are 500,000 impressions, right? 500,000 people have access to this very platform. So I'm asking all of you viewers and supporters, our personal ones, people that we don't know, please repost this. Please share this information. We have to grow communities exponentially in smaller spaces. So I'm gonna go and say to you, you can't get a master class with with my professional sisters here and Rick the Genius without paying a couple $100 generally, you know. So this is free. Share it, use it, and we are welcome to talk to all of you as a collective.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Okay, what do we do? I think we've cracked the code. We've cracked the code today.
This is the new code of wealth. There's a new code. There's a new way of doing business right now, man. If you will, can y'all provide your social media information so people can get in contact with you guys?
I sure can. My IG, Instagram is Venita McCullum. You can also go to my website, which is raisinarapper.com. My YouTube, The Wrap Up with Venita. And my Facebook is Venita Osborne McCullum.
You want to follow her, and if you want some fashion tips, she is like fashionista.
That's my other show. My other show, In the Closet with D.
She will get you all the way together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got a whole plethora of stuff going on.
we see where I let y'all to get all that swag from, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Mama.
Glenn, what about you?
Mine is Glenn with 2 N's, GLENNTOBY. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Don't forget LinkedIn, people. A lot of these big discussions are there. We need to kind of go. We need to go in LinkedIn and kind of take that over. Hip hop.
I love LinkedIn.
LinkedIn talking. They got a lot of tools in there.
Platform.
A lot of tools.
Yeah.
A lot of tools. And then my website is Dr. Glenn Toby, DrGlennToby.com.
Wonderful.
Dr. Glenn. I'll call you Dr. Glenn. And follow me. I'm at Sonia Booker. I am Sonia Booker on IG, and I love the LinkedIn platform. And you are absolutely right. We have to get there more.
Yeah.
So make sure you go over there and follow me, and I'm going to follow you as well, Dr. Glenn.
Awesome. Yeah, you can follow me at Rick Mathis, RIC, Rick without the K. I felt that was too many letters. We didn't need to use it.
Your mom. Did you take your K off, or did your mom do it?
Exactly. And also follow Black Friday, the movement. You know, on Facebook.
Right.
This is something that we are starting, Sonia and myself, that it's just the tip of the iceberg of what we have to offer. We have some more exciting things planned that we want you guys to be involved in. And because it's all about, sharing the information, sharing the resources, sharing the contact, helping your brother, helping your sister get to the next level. It's time out now for the crab in the bucket mentality.
Can't do it. Doesn't work. It hasn't served us.
Yes.
Yeah, and Rick, you're gonna be blackbusting too in a couple of weeks. Right?
Oh yeah, we'll be blackbusting again too. We have Blackbusters, which is also an independent competition for Black filmmakers. We showcase movie trailers.
Okay.
So we had one last Sunday that was amazing.
Yeah.
You can find that link on Facebook as well.
I got to check it out, and I got to check out Corona Man.
Yeah, Corona Man was dope. Oh my gosh. It's
you should go watch that.
Yeah.
Like, watch the whole thing, watch all of them. They were all great trailers. The Corona Man, I just think the talent is amazing to show something relevant and put it in a way that that entertain us but educate us at the same time. And that's what I think good filmmaking does. So that was a really good job.
Yeah, so any quick sound bites or affirmations that you want to leave the people with before we sound off? I know I'll share mine at the end, but I want to give you two a chance to share a quick soundbite, quick affirmation, a quick quote. Something that people can chew on and use as words of encouragement during this pandemic.
Well, a little something that I always like to tell these kids, I just like to put out there. A lot of people kind of take it, and some people can understand it and some can't, but I love to say that all money ain't good money. You have to really have discernment on the opportunities that you're going to accept and the work that you're going to do, and set standards for yourself. Because just because someone wants to hand you money doesn't mean that it's always a good thing. So just keep that in mind when you are in the business and you're moving and you're shaking and you're being offered opportunities. You need to learn how to have some discernment on what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. And you do have to turn some things down, turn some big numbers down sometimes. But, it's just a part of learning the business and learning your worth. When you know what you're worth, then okay, that's not on my level, or that's not what I want to be a part of. I love to tell people that so that they can see that you can't do everything and everything's not for you.
Right.
That's
I love that.
Glenn?
I'll say this in closing: beautiful people, this can be the death of you or the birth of you. Go into the closets of your house, go into your drawers, go into your soul, go into your mind. The world has been stopped. We can start it again.
That's why it's so broken up in different states. So we're going to open up on
Right.
Friday. We're going to open up on the 15th. Be the master of your destiny and take it
I like
that. Don't take too much of a handout. For every dollar that you think is coming in, think of a way how to double
That's
it down,
right.
and don't get thrown off course.
That's right.
Love it. What about you, Sonia?
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking the thing that comes to me is faith over fear. You know, like you really do have to buckle down, and, you know, faith is the substance of things you don't see.
No.
So that's real important, because fear is the killer of so many things and so many dreams. And so you really do have to push through and push all of that out of your mind and really go into those closets and go into those inner places and come out of this thing, you know, with some downloads that will blow you away.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. And so in closing, I would say during this major reset, because this is a hard reset that we are.
Hard.
Global reset.
Global reset.
Hard reset, I like it.
You know, pivot and crack the code. And always remember that in the midst of turmoil, there's always opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll say that again. In the midst of turmoil, there's always opportunity. Some of the most successful corporations have been built during the time of turmoil.
Right.
So you have to see where the opportunity is. You have to see, okay, there's a big problem, because most of the time, you know, the bigger the problem, the bigger the reward. So there is a major problem right now. The problem is everything is being digitized. You know what I'm saying? It's a digital world now. It's a digital economy. So in that, you have to see, how do you solve a problem and how do you reap the benefits?
Right.
So in closing, I'll say it again, in the midst of turmoil, there's always opportunity. Thank you. Thank my lovely guests.
Thank you.
Guys,
This has been amazing. Thank you, Rolling Out. Shout out to Munson Steve, also, you know, Rolling Out, and the entire team, you know, entire staff. Portia, you know, who helped me set the platform up, because this is, of course, you know, we on training wheels with the Zoom. Right?
gotta thank the smart.
Got it though.
So thank you. With that, please like it, please share it. This has been some great information that you should share with your family and friends if you love them. You know, share this information.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.